The Buffalo Sabres are rumored to sign their star defenseman to a massive deal. We'll break this all down for you coming up on this episode of Hattrick HQ. But before we get into that, we just wanted to say that 93% of you guys aren't subscribed. So if you're looking for a home for daily NHL content, look no further and go down and hit that subscribe button. But with that out of the way, let's get right into the first topic of the video today, which is Rasmus Dahlin's rumored extension. And yesterday, BR Open Ice put out that Rasmus Dahlin's rumored extension in Buffalo is 8 years with an AAV of $10.5 million. And as we take a look at his hockey reference stats here, obviously had the best year of his career last year with 73 points, 15 goals, and 58 assists, but also played really well on the defensive end, putting up 132 blocks and 105 hits. And we take a look here from Evolving Hockey. They got him projected to be the sixth most valuable defenseman heading into next season. Got him at about an 89 overall with 88 offense. And if you guys want to take a look at that, you can just pause the video, and we're just going to hop right into it. Mark, obviously this is huge news. I think this is such a great deal. Like I've said, I've been vocal on this channel before that I'm really high on Dahlin, and I think we're going to see a Norris trophy out of him during some point in his career.
Yeah, you look at Dahlin, and he's just a phenomenal player. In my opinion, when you look at the Buffalo Sabres, I think Dahlin is by far and away the best player on the team. I know there's a little bit of hype. I mean, Tage is incredible, but I think there's so much value out of this guy. You know, he's your top defenseman. He can run your top minutes. He was running about 26 minutes a game last year and 73 points. I mean, this is phenomenal for him. You look at some guys getting signed to these long-term deals, and there's a couple bridge deals, but I think this is a no-brainer. You lock him up at 10.5 for the 8 years. You get him through his entire prime. He's a guy you build around. He's your future player. He's your current player. And you get this situation where you have him locked up, and with the cap going up, we're seeing this trend of a lot of players maybe signing the 3-4 year deal. But if you get him for this entire 8 year deal at 10.5, over the years, as he gets better and evolves, it's just the contract's going to look so much better that I think this is just a massive win for the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, and right, like you said, through 8 years, it's just crazy because this team's only developing and only getting better. And I think with having him signed through this whole time while the Buffalo's young core is developing and evolving, I think we could definitely see this team take a huge step and start competing in the next few years. But a lot of people, when they look at Dahlin, they see the offense. Obviously, such a great offensive player, a great guy who can quarterback that power play. And paired up with Yoki Haru, I think it's just a perfect pairing for him. Just a great defensive defenseman paired with such a great offensive talented defenseman in Dahlin. But last year we did see him take strides in developing his defensive edge. We had, like we seen on Hockey Reference here, I think it was like over 130 blocks and 100 hits. And the season before he had 120 hits. I think this guy's just going to be a beast. And in the next couple of years, I think he's going to be competing for a Norris, and he's going to be in tops of some of the top defensemen in the league.
Yeah, because you kind of look at the situation. You know, a lot of teams, when they're making these big cup runs, they always have that number one defenseman. I mean, you look back to the Chicago days when they won, they had a guy like Duncan Keith. You look at an LA days where Drew Doughty was their go-to guy and their top defenseman. I think Dahlin can be at this level or even a little better than some of these guys. You kind of get everything where he's physical enough where he'll hit, he can block shots, he can score, and he still put up a crazy amount of assists. So it's almost like you're getting this jack of all trades guy at such a good cap hit as a 10.5. I mean, even if you wanted to push 11, I'm still completely fine with this deal. You get him for the 8 years, so even if the first 1 or 2 years there's a little bit of growing pains with the team and they're not in the playoff hunt, that still gives you a full 6 years of him going into his prime, controlled under the cap and at a great price that just can kind of elevate this team and build this identity starting with him on the back end.
And like we've talked about on this channel before, Mark, like Buffalo has such a great team. Like they got such a good mix of young developing prospects with Thompson, Dahlin, and all these guys. But they also got the veteran presence there with Skinner and those guys too. So I just think this team is going to be have a great season this year. I think we're going to see them take a lot of big strides this year. And I think they're going to be competing with Ottawa and Detroit for that last playoff spot.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the biggest things you want to look is a guy like Alex Tuck is going to be huge for the team going into next year. A guy like Skinner, Tage, and Dahlin. But I think Devin Levi is another guy that you almost need to just keep an eye on too. Between these 4 or 5 players I named, I think it's going to be on them and the development of the younger guys to kind of push Buffalo over this hump and finally get into the playoff hunt. I mean, you've seen last year they only missed it by a couple points, and I think this year with a full year of Levi as the starter, Dahlin anchoring the back end, not having to worry about any contracts, and their guys up front, I think they will eventually and finally push into the playoffs again.
Yeah, we're really big Levi guys over here. We really hope he has a good season because this guy's just the future of Buffalo, and with him and Tage there, it's just gonna be so good. And like I said earlier, like Darlene's just one of those guys who can go out there and quarterback a power play. And I think this power play unit's gonna be really good this year because you got Victor Golofsson back there, the power play merchant, who when Darlene hits him in his spot, he's just gonna put it in every time. I just think this team is gonna be so exciting to watch this time, even if Toronto fans can't make it into the building.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. I mean, I've actually talked about it the past couple of years with a couple of friends was to head down to Buffalo, get cheaper tickets. It's pretty much a home game for the Leafs when you look at the stadium. But honestly, I think with this team coming up so much, I think it's the right thing for Buffalo to do to kind of keep a lot of the fans out, get a lot of their fans in, especially if they can sell at the stadium. And it does look a lot better when you have a lot of Buffalo jerseys in the stadium. And I think with this exciting team, I think they're going to have no worries at all selling this stadium out.
Yeah, man. Mark, I'm not one person who takes very many hot takes or makes a big take here on the channel, but I'm going to make one here now. I think in the next 4 years, Rasmus Dahlin's going to have a Norris trophy under his belt.
I could see it honestly. I'll one up you and say maybe 2 to 3 years. I think he's an incredible guy. It just really relies on how Buffalo finishes in the standings, plus minus, which I've said before, I'm not a big fan of. I think it's one of those stats you can kind of just throw around and doesn't mean too much. But no, I think he's the type of guy you could honestly see 80, 85 points in the next couple of years with elite defense, a lot of hits, a lot of blocks, and honestly put him in the Norris talk a lot.
Yeah, Buffalo fans should be ecstatic right now because your best defenseman, one of the best defensemen in the league, just signed back for 8 years. You should be jumping for joy, doing your happy dance because I think with this team, it's just such. I think it's gonna be such fun hockey to watch this year. I think I'm gonna find myself watching Buffalo games, which I haven't really done since Eichel was on the team. So I'm really excited to see this team this year. I think with, like you said, with people like Levi and Tuck and all these guys, I think in a couple of years we're gonna see Dahlin. I'm gonna say get 100 points. I think it's a lot for a defenseman to get 100 points, but I can definitely see a 100 point season coming out of Dahlin the next couple of years.
Well, we see the scoring going up so much. I mean, what was there like an insane amount of people that scored 50 goals this year and 40 goals, 30 goals? I think with the increased scoring, we're going to see a lot more guys like Dahlin and defensemen just kind of hitting this real close to or the 100 point plateau. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did put up 100 points in the next couple of years.
Yeah, definitely. But we'd like to hear your guys' take on it down in the comment section below. What do you think of this Dahlin deal? Because I've seen some people loving it, seen some people hating it, but from us here, we both love this deal. We both love seeing Buffalo. Well, at least I do. I love seeing Buffalo do good because I always root for the underdogs. I like seeing those low tier teams do good, and I'm gonna find myself watching a lot of Buffalo games this year, which I never thought I would say during the beginning of this offseason. But we're gonna get into everybody's favorite topic now, which is comment of the day, and the comment of the day today goes to Lance. Lance says, you guys do a great job. Keep up the work. Thanks. Shout out to you, Lance. We appreciate you watching the videos and liking the videos. And if you guys want to be featured on the comment of the day, make sure to comment down below. Like I said, let us know your take on Dahlin's contract. Or even if you just want to drop some travel tips to England for me because I'm heading over there next week and I really don't know what I'm getting myself into. So I'd like to hear from you guys down in the comment section below. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like down below. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers before the season starts. And I've been KC alongside my co-host Mark Pye. Keep your stick on the ice.